Hey everybody, it's In Studio with Jason Collins. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I went online and bought a grab bag of old flashes. I got like 10 of them for $17 or something. And some of them are really cool. There's some really old flashes in here. A couple of these, the Hanimex X322. Is pretty old. I mean, I'm going by the fact that the box doesn't even have a barcode on it, and that was probably done in the late 70s or early 80s. So we're probably looking at something here that's at least 40, if not 50 or 60 years old, which really speaks to, sort of the durability in the art of the accessory flash. It's been around for a very long time in photography. And so anyway, I got 10 flashes and I went through them. Most of them had corrosion on the inside. Some of them actually still had batteries inside, so you can imagine how gross that was, right? And so these on this side are the ones that I haven't been able to get working yet. And I'm kind of bummed because there's a couple of them in here. There's a Vivitar Model 2500 flash with a adjustable zoom head that I was kind of hoping to get working, because one of the flashes that I was able to get working is the Vivitar 285 HV flash. Now this flash, I have probably used a flash like this one, not this exact one, but one exactly like this one, more than anything else in my career, because this is the flash that I used in the late 80s, early 90s when I was shooting a lot of sports and newspaper stuff. This was the go-to flash. It was really new technology. It has what's called a thyristor, and basically what this sensor in the front of this flash does is when the flash sends out light and the light bounces back, when the flash has received enough light for the prescribed exposure, it shuts the flash off. So this was really the beginning of modern TTL, really, because it was doing a bit of metering through this circuit and it was telling the flash, okay, we've got enough light, and it was shutting it off. So I was really happy to get this one. This flash right here actually was worth the entire pack of flashes that I got. These on this side are the ones that I was able to get working. I have a very small Ansco light, just straight up manual, tiny little flash. I got this one working. I got the Vivitar 285 working. I was also able to get a Canon 299T flash working. Now this flash, I'm going to go back to the 80s again. This flash, when I first got into photography, one of the first cameras that I ever owned was a Canon T50. And then I went from that to a T70 and then to a T90. And so the T series flashes, and there were several, I can't remember what the names of the, I think it was a 244 T. There were several of them. The 299T was actually the top of the line flash at the time. It worked really well in some of the automatic modes that came out. The T70 and T90 cameras were some of the first digitally controlled cameras to hit the market, at least for Canon anyway. And then later after that, the EOS line came in the probably very early 90s. We got the EOS line of cameras, the EOS 630 and 650, which were awesome cameras, by the way. But anyway, so I've got a Canon 299T that works, and it works really basically the same way that the Vivitar does. It's got some sensors in the front, and it can shut itself off and moderate the amount of light that's getting. And then also I have a Sunpack Auto 211 thyristor flash. So I've got 4 flashes that work. I have gone in the studio and done some metering with them. The smallest one here I was able to get, just with the bare flash, I was able to get f8 at about 4 feet, and then the rest of these, obviously, I was able to get all the way up to f22 with one of the bigger ones. So anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to take these 4 flashes that work, we're going to take them into the studio, we're going to put them into some modern modifiers, maybe a beauty dish, definitely some soft boxes, maybe even some shoot through and some bounce umbrellas. And we're gonna see what kind of portrait we can get with, you know, modern camera technology, modern light modifier technology, and some not so modern flashes. So let's get shooting. Hey everybody, it's Jason Collins with Southern Exposures Photography. We're here in my studio in Calhoun City, Mississippi, and we have the fantastic Faith. Yes. We have Faith with us today, guys, and we are going to start building a shot here today. And this is going to be kind of interesting and unique for you guys. A few weeks ago, I went on Goodwill.com and I bought just sort of a grab bag of different kinds of flashes. And these are the ones that I wound up with. It was like $17 I paid for a box full of just random flashes. And I wound up with 3 of them that worked really well. So one of the questions that I get from time to time is what kind of equipment do I need to get really good pictures? And while professional gear is really important and you can get some really super nice shots with them, when you're first starting out, you really don't need to spend a ton of money on stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of take it to the extreme, and we are going to build a couple of shots today using these old grab bag Goodwill flashes. Now, some of these, the one that we're going to start out with here is probably older than Faith, and it may be almost as old as me. No, I'm kidding. But one of the elements of light that's important to cover here is light has different characteristics, and we always, almost always want soft light for portraits. Well, softness has to do with the size of the light, right? So the bigger the light source relative to your subject, the softer it is. And this is a little bitty tiny light source, like it's about 1 inch by maybe 2 or 2.5 inches. So we're going to get some really hard light from this, but I want you guys to see kind of what that looks like. So what we're going to do is we are going to take our first shot. Faith, if you would do me a favor and turn your knees toward the light, okay? And then your head and your eyes back toward me. And we are going to take the lens cap off because it's so much easier to see the model when you have the lens cap off. Alrighty, so we are right there. Let's get framed up here just a little bit, right there. And we're going to take a shot. And we're also tethered into Capture One so we can see what we've got on the screen. And as you can see, not a completely terrible picture, but not the best one either, and that's just because of the hardness of the light. You can see that we have a really, really stark shadow on this side, and it's just not very flattering light. So one of the solutions to improving the quality of the photograph would be to add some fill, so you're not getting so much light on one side and no light on the other side. So what we're going to do is we're going to take one of the other flashes that I got, and we are going to use it for fill. So we're going to do the same shot basically right there and just like that. And so as you can see now, we have filled in some of the harsh shadow on the other side. I'll go ahead and pull these up side by side so we can take a look at them. And let's make a little bit of an adjustment to our exposure on this one. Bring it down just a touch. And this one, bring down just a touch. So as you can see, in the first photo, we had a really defined shadow over here. And that's because of the hardness of the light. And it creates this really, really abrupt shadow. But we've gone with another light and we filled that in a little bit, but we're still dealing with some pretty hard light. So what we want to do is we want to soften that light. The way that we soften that light is we make it bigger. The easiest and least expensive way, I'm going to step out of frame just a second, the easiest and least expensive way to make a light source bigger is to use an umbrella. So we're going to attach these umbrellas. These are super inexpensive, guys. Like if you're just starting out, I recommend that you get you some umbrellas because you can get these things, you can get these online for, gosh, I don't know, like, these are just super cheap shoot-through umbrellas from eBay. And we're talking about $8 maybe, nothing extremely expensive. Now I have mine on some mounts. I will include, wow, this one's always tough, there we go. I will include a link to all of the stuff that I'm using in the description below, so if you guys want to take a look at it. So basically what we're doing now is we're taking a light source that was really small, we're pushing it into this umbrella and making it much larger. So we're going to get a much softer light from this, and it will be a lot more, it'll be a lot more flattering light. So let's take a look at this. This is much nicer than this. Don't you agree? Can you see that, Faith? You want to come take a look? So this was the first one that we took, and see how it has this really defined shadow from your nose?
Right.
Okay, and then this, let's go here. This is the last one that we took.
Oh, that's so much better.
Isn't it though?
I love it.
Okay, so hop in here, we're going to do a couple more things. So if you'll notice, in the shot, the background is almost completely black. And the reason is because these small flashes, even with umbrellas, typically umbrellas throw light everywhere. But with these small flashes, there's not enough power to push through. Hop right back up here. There's not enough power to push through the umbrella and also reach the background. So what we're going to do is we are going to put a third flash on and see what kind of help we can get to our background. So right there, hold what you got, and there. All right, let's take a look and see what we got. Almost perfectly positioned behind the head. This is the difference between, let's go with this one first. This is no background light, and this is the same shot with a background light. See how in this one, the darkness of your hair just kind of falls off into this, and it's not really defined. But now when you put that on, see the difference in that?
I do.
Alrighty, so let's see if we can come up with a little better shot. I want to get this squared behind you just a tiny bit better, which would probably be right there. Okay, hop up there. We'll take a few shots. Now that we kind of have everything, kind of dialed in. So there you have it, guys. This is a demonstration of what you can do with some super inexpensive flash stuff. And so the modifiers and everything that I've used in this video today, I'll have links down below so you guys can check those out. Be sure to follow us on Instagram. Be sure to follow us on YouTube. Be sure to follow us on social media. Southern Exposures Photography. I'm Jason Collins. We'll see you next time.